Today, I'm prepping the wing. We'll be putting some VGs on. We'll go out and flight test it and see what the difference is on the stall speeds with the VGs on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put right up here a link to my VG video. That way I don't have to take the time to film all this because I've already done that on the other airplane. So you guys can go ahead and reference that video if you want to know how to do the VGs. Basically going to do it exactly the same way. It worked real good last time. Placement's about 4% back from the leading edge. So I'll get going on that and I'll show a pic when it's all done. Alright, so for today's flight, the mission is to test the VGs that were just put on, compare the stall speeds to the non-VG stall speeds. Our power off stall speed being at 39. See if we get an improvement.
Yeah, bad driver, TP 60, departed road 155, got the Kitfox in sight.
Alright, a little bumpy today. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with getting good numbers on the stalls here. Oh man, it's way cooler up here today. 4,500, we're down to 66. Might have to close the doors today. Nice. So there will be that difference, a little bit of difference in the air temperature. Let's go ahead and set up for power off stall. I want to go right for the nitty gritty. We'll go full flaps first. Go all the way back on the stick. We're at 37 and not stalling. It's just coming down about the same as my glide. So 37 miles per hour, no stall really. It's giving me some buffet, some nose drop. It's just kind of holding there, 37. So 2 mile per hour drop with the VGs. Try the other flap settings. So before it was 41 with one notch in. Let's try that again. They're about 40, kind of buffeting around, not really wanting to stall either. Thinking about it, but it kind of just, oh, there it is, 40. That was a good stall. So only about a 1 mile per hour difference there. Try no flap, or actually let's do all the notches. This one was at 43 before. Yeah, about 42. And just that first quarter notch. Got waffling at 43. And let's try no notch, no flaps. All right, 43, 44. That's different there. Now my old Kitfox was well over 50 with a power off, no flaps. On the low end, just a couple mile per hour, but it wouldn't actually stall with full flaps. Just kind of, the nose kind of just bounces on you. That deck angle right there on my climb. About an 85% power climb. 65 miles an hour at over 1,000 feet a minute. Okay, so this time I'm going to set up, try to hold level. See what power setting takes at full flaps to hold level and how slow we can get. Basically a power on, but minimum power to maintain level. Alright, so calling it out. Currently about 1,500 RPM on the prop. Give a comparison to all the different engines. We're at 39 right now. Holding level. Bring it back a little bit more, see where it's going to stall. 38. 37. 36. 35. 34. 33. 32. 31. And you can see it does stall more aggressively. 31 is your power on stall. That was fun. So power off 38, power on 31, standard wing with VGs. Pretty awesome. The deck angle, I don't know if the cameras capture that, but that was steep. I was starting to lean forward because we were getting so much deck angle. I don't know about the slats, man. I think you have to get really, really steep. Maybe you can just stay at that same deck angle and just get slower. Again, safety factor on all these guys, 1.3 times your VSO. So full flaps would be 1.3 times the 38. Instead of guessing, I'll give that to you. 49, so 50 mile per hour approach is right on the money as far as safety factor. Now the power on VSO would be, I say 32, 31, 41.6. So if you're doing a bit of a power on approach, of course you're not going to get that deck angle. You're going to have a descent going on, so some factors that are different. But start approaching at 45 wouldn't be a terrible thing. Let's set that up. Let's do a 45 mile per hour approach, and maybe like 300 foot a minute, ready to descend. Into the wind, and see how it maneuvers. All right, you gotta be happy with this standard wing though. It's, especially being this light, impressive stall numbers for this Kitfox. Yeah, you can trim this one, hands off, full flaps. No, no back pressure needed. I do have the spring assist. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna slow up to 50. And I'm just gonna fly it around and slow flight at 50. Get comfortable with that, see how it performs and turns. So your phase 1 flight testing, guys, isn't just flying around in circles. You gotta go out and find the flight characteristics of your plane. different weight configurations. That's what we'll be doing next on this, is loading it differently. Right now I'm flying around at 50 miles an hour, and I want to know what the slow flight characteristics are. Then I'm going to bump it down to 45, and I'm going to see what the slow flight characteristics are there. And keep going until I get to a point where I'm not comfortable at the speed I'm at, doing turns and maneuvers. We just calculated the VSO with full flaps of 50. So I'm at 50 right now. There's no adverse characteristics with kicking in rudder, doing steeper turns. I'm not really loading the wing that much because we're going so slow. So let's slow it up to 45. But at full flaps, I mean, I'm really nose up to get 45. There's actually 43. I'm gonna have to have a little descent going with a 45 mile an hour speed, or else my nose will just be too high. For these slats, I'm just not sure how the slats are gonna work out on this plane, because the flap configuration, I think you're gonna have to go with no flaps. So my vertical speed's about 100 right now. Cruising around at 45. The angle of attack indicator not giving me full-on push-over warning yet. We can turn right around a point. We're not even moving. Our ground speed's like 40. Keeping the nose on the horizon. Standard rate turn at 45. Roll out, come back to the left. Try not to gain any altitude or airspeed in the switch. It flies very nice at 45. If I get any slower, let's try the same power setting, but we'll go slower and get just more of a descent rate going. I have to bring the power back a little bit. Now the angle of attack's telling me to push. We're at 41. So I'm real close to that stall speed, so I'm going to do shallower bank turns. But I'm at 41 right now. Not getting any buffeting. Now it's because I do have some power on. Like I said, the power on stall is about 31, 32. About 41, this is my VSO 1.3 VSO with power on. Now if I cut the power, with this deck angle, airspeed is going to drop off really quickly, and I'll probably get into a stall. Not really, so now I'm holding 42, flat attitude, coming down at 500 feet a minute. Pretty far back on the stick, so if I wanted to flare right now, I didn't put the VGs on the tail yet. That's like I wanted to see without it. Pull up trim. So power off, I am holding back pressure to get that slow. It doesn't want to go that slow. You gotta almost force it. So in order to stall this on approach, you really gotta be forcing it to do it. I wouldn't want to approach this slow. That's right. Just pulling out. Man, the stall's still pretty far back. Now I'm at 36, I'm not stalling. 35. There it is, 35. That's quite a bit slower than our 39. This is going the other direction into the wind, so. Alright guys, I think I'm pretty much done playing around with it, just seeing the different characteristics for today. Interesting. Alright guys, good morning. Hopefully the display is going to show up here. I changed the frame rate again. This time I slowed it down. So it looks like the best I could do is just kind of get that screen, rolling screen, where you can see it. Can't get a shutter speed on the camera that matches up with that very well.
Temperature 25 Celsius. Dew point 8 Celsius. Altimeter 2.982 inches of mercury. Remarks: density altitude 2300.
Alright, flaps are set. Trim set. Let's go. Crazy to hit 1,200 feet in elevation before you get to the end of the runway. So my last flight, I did set up the Bluetooth feature on the GTR 200V radio. So I can play music, but I found out those, it does come across and into the camera, which is fine. You guys can hear what I'm playing. The problem is YouTube flags it as a copyright violation when I listen to music. Alright guys, so today what I'm doing, I'm kind of pretending like I'm doing a cross-country flight. Not necessarily an endurance test, but I kind of want to see what my fuel burn, cruise numbers, cruise temperatures, power settings, everything like that's how it's going to do. So I'm data logging it on the computer. I did a climb straight out to 5,000 feet, and instead of running a hard climb, I did it in a sustained long climb, like if I was going to do a climb for a trip. I did it to 5,000 feet at about 500 feet a minute, at about a 70% power setting in the climb. Temperatures were great. So the coolant temperature got up to 203. Oil temp went up to about 225 and then settled in there. Once I leveled off, I'm now been cruising for a while. I'm at 189 on the engine temp and 215 on the oil temp. Those are great numbers. I'm real happy with that. So that's 1 hour that we're in here now, me talking to you. And my temperatures have not changed in the last 45 minutes. So we can either go up or down in our cruise power setting. So since I'm at 55%, let's bump it up to 60% cruise. See if that gives us much of an performance increase. Let's go 65. Let's make it so it's notable. I just want to see what it does temp-wise and airspeed-wise, if it's even worth it. Now I'm at 65% horsepower, which is 2,300 RPM on the prop, 8,800 RPM on the engine. That's running it a bit on the hard side for cruise. I think Brian Dickens will definitely agree that's higher than he likes to see it run. That has bumped me up, trying to get where I'm not going up or down, so a little bumpy air right now. There we go. So in level flight, that's given me 99 to 100 true airspeed. Fuel burn went up a whole gallon an hour to go from 94 to 99. So it's cost me a gallon an hour to go 5 miles per hour faster. Doesn't really pencil out, so I get there 5 minutes, let's see, like 3 minutes faster for an extra gallon every hour. Not really necessary. But I want to see what the oil temps do. I run it a little harder. And it gives me my 100 miles an hour that I really wanted. So again, I don't have the wing strut bearings on, and I'm running the bush gear standard wing. Those configurations are going to change throughout this flight testing, so I just want to, mostly for a note for me, when I go back and look at the video, that at 65% power, 2,300 RPM on the prop, I'm seeing 100 miles an hour true airspeed. So when I go to the different gear, or I put on the wing strut bearings, I can compare that apples to apples. Okay, so the coolant temps stayed the same. Oil temps come up to 219 from, what was that, 212 before? Boy, the smoke's really come in here. Let me turn the camera and show you what I'm looking at. About an hour and a half. I was going to get 2 hours, but to the point where I don't know if I'll be able to get back into the airport. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. I'll show the different stall speeds here that I got with and without the VGs. Not much of a drop really, other than with the full flaps power off, and then I didn't do a power on stall without the VG, so I didn't have anything to compare that to. But basically this wing already stalls so much slower than my Model 5 did. To see any improvements was good. The main thing though is with the stick full back, with the full flaps power off with the VGs, it didn't really stall. So next time I'll be adding the VGs to the bottom of the elevator and then we can see if we can get a little more elevator authority and see if we can get it to actually do more of an aggressive stall, and see if we can get those numbers just a little bit lower even. So there was a difference, not huge difference like I saw on the Model 5, but it was definitely an improvement. So stay tuned. Next time we'll be talking about the Yamaha motor and my opinion of it so far. And in future videos we're going to be changing the configurations a little bit with landing gear, wings, get some wing strut fairings on there, stuff like that. So hit the subscribe button, the like button if you liked it, leave a comment please, and we'll see you on the next one.